Hello everyone and welcome to the first of my official F1 2015 series. Here it is, the Battle of the Manors, and basically here I'm going to explain how it's going to work. As mentioned before, each race I drive as one of the Manor drivers for, say, this race I'm going to be driving as Will Stevens, and the second race I'm going to be driving as Roberto Merri, and so on. And the settings, obviously you'll be able to see the settings here. Now, I just want to say the reason why I have not done a proper intro to this series so far, like, say, the likes of Stockman did with real footage and stuff like that, has been put in the description. As you can see, I am putting the settings in, and now let's go into qualifying.
Welcome to Melbourne, where qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix should be getting underway shortly.
Well, as you saw just there, it is pouring down with rain for this qualifying, so intermediate tyres is the way to go. And now, everybody had only prepared a dry setup for this race, because Manor was so late to get into this race, they only had a dry setup prepared. But now, let's go into the lap. As you can see, everyone's already ahead like the ghost for everyone. Will's being a little bit tentative so far going into turn 1. Now, heading into it's not, but I'm pretty sure Will's not caring about where like the Williams and the Mercedes and the Ferraris are. All he cares about is beating Roberto. Now, it's a reasonable lap so far for him. Now heading into this section, as you can see, he's sliding about, obviously with a dry setup. This is not what he would have wanted in terms of grip. He runs a little bit wide going into turn 6. Now heading into this kink, which is a corner you usually ignore. But now heading into chicane. So far, there's not been any major mistakes. Now there's a bit of oversteer there. And that was the first real major mistake. So now heading into the fast chicane of turn 11 and turn 12. Now, but he's oversteered horribly, and he's into the gravel. That could have lost him at least 3 seconds there. That was a terrible mistake there from Will Stevens. As he heads into the Ascari complex, now into the end of the lap, he is now really strong. I think he's got a bit of dirt on his tyres from that off. And this has not been a good lap for Will Stevens, as he now heads into the final corner. And across the line he goes. And it's obviously going to be last on the grid, obviously with all those mistakes. Not the qualifying he would have wanted, but to start the season. Qualifying behind his teammate Roberto Merri. As you can see, in the garage, he is not happy. But let's hope he can have a better race come tomorrow.
That's a perfect end to the day for Lewis Hamilton, who'll be on pole now for tomorrow's race. It's nearly 5 o'clock here local time, and welcome to race day here in Melbourne, Australia. The cars are on the grid and they should be setting off shortly for the formation lap. Here's the grid for today's race. We'll be starting shortly.
Well, Will Stevens is currently sitting on the grid for his second F1 race after making his debut in Abu Dhabi last year. It's dry, and we're all set for the season opener for this season. As you can see, it's dry, but we have the lights in Melbourne. It's lights out, and away we're going at the front. The two Mercedes get a reasonable launch. I think Lewis Hamilton got a better launch as they now head towards the first corner. Now back to Will Stevens. Now he has a look down the inside of Roberto Merri, but he has to back off because Roberto Merri kind of turned in, and he has lost a lot of ground, as you can see. They now are heading up towards turn 3 for the first time. As they now head in to turn 3, as you can see, Will being a little bit tentative on the brakes. But as they head into turn 4, he's getting a better exit, and now he's right behind his teammate. He seems to have been backed up. Will does cut the corner with it. Now heading into turn 6. He goes for a lunge down the inside, but there is contact, and both have spun. both have spun off into the wall. I'm not sure who was at fault there, but Will Stevens was not happy on the team radio.
So stupid, he comes across in front of me every single time he overtakes. Where does he want me to go off the track?
Okay, understood, mate. We'll have a look into it.
So now here looking at the replay, as you can see, yes, Will kind of did go for a bit of an ambitious move, but to be honest, by the time the contact was made, Will already had the corner, so Roberto really should have backed out. But Roberto actually has to go into the pits at the end of the lap with a damaged front wing, so that's his race completely ruined. So now Will Stevens is currently in 9th, he's just hoping for something to happen in front of him, just so he can gain more positions. But here, back at the front, and as you can see, Nico Rosberg is chasing Lewis Hamilton at the moment for the lead of the race, as they are heading on to the 3rd lap. But as you can see, Nico Rosberg has DRS now, as they head up towards turn 3. He goes for the inside, he's going to try to take the lead of the race here, but Lewis gets the better exit out of turn 3, but somehow Rosberg's able to get the drive off of 4, and he's got the inside going into 5, and he has taken the lead of the race. And you can see the Ferrari behind even tries to have a look, and Rosberg would go on to win the race. As you can see, Will Stevens in P19 about to finish the race. At least he made it to the end. Obviously Roberto Merri had that damage to his front wing after that incident, as mentioned before. Some people may say that Will kind of went for an over-aggressive move, but to be honest, by the time the contact was made, Will already had the corner. So to be honest, I think Roberto could only really blame himself for that, because he didn't back out. But it is Stevens that wins the Battle of the Manors for this race, and he will be ahead in the championship going into Malaysia. The Malaysian round of the Battle of the Manors series, which will be uploaded next week at 7 PM on Monday, as usual with this series. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you for my next video. Goodbye.